What's up, guys? Welcome back to the MontyVerse. Today, we're going to be checking out the first trailer for Dune Part 2, and joining me, I had to call in my Dune expert, Zach McDonald. What's up, Zach?
Dude, I'm hyped. I saw the little teaser for the trailer yesterday. Swear to God, the teaser for the trailer, better than most trailers we get these days. So, look, Dune Part 1, top 5 movie all time. Dune Part 2, I'm putting it roughly 85% chance being the greatest movie ever made. So, pretty fucking hyped.
That's a pretty high percentage right there. Whatever, dude. I'm not going to make you wait. I know you've been dying to watch this. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, starting the trailer to Dune Part 2 in 3, 2, 1.
It's breathtaking.
It's
breathtaking. Yeah, it's breathtaking. All
when
right.
you see sand here, imagine water.
All of that
If you
sound.
dive in, you can't reach the bottom.
He's talking about his home world.
Yes, it's called swimming.
I don't believe you. In the shadows of Arrakis
Whoa.
lie many secrets,
Holy shit.
but the darkest of them all may remain.
Oh!
That's Princess Irulan. Oh, she's talking into like a recorder. She's like a
End of
history
House
buff.
Atreides.
Oscar
Your father
Isaac.
didn't believe in revenge.
Fury will rise. Paul believes in revenge.
What if Paul Atreides were still alive?
Oh!
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Oh!
Fade! Fade!
There's Drax!
Oh, I love that. Oh wait, that was Lady Margot. Oh, holy shit!
Oh.
So much happening right now.
Oh my god!
Oh, fuck. Oh, I think that's a spice agony.
What?
Have
And
you
we saw the
ever
water
had
of
a
life.
your first
Holy
ride?
fuck! Oh, let's go, dude. You ever dream about your first ride? Let's fucking go.
Don't try to impress anyone.
Do it.
You're brave, we all know that.
It's true.
Be simple. Be direct.
Bro.
That looks dope. Oh, what?
Maker hooks. Grab on! Grab on! You can do it.
Nothing fancy.
I understand.
Oh, that looks pretty fancy. Oh, dude, that's so sick.
That's dope.
Nothing fancy.
Okay.
Oh, let's fucking go, dude.
Whoa.
Oh,
Oh.
fade.
You will
Lady
never
Margot
lose
again.
me, Paul Atreides.
Holy shit, that was Irulan.
We gave them something to hope for.
Oh,
May thy knife chip and
let's
shatter.
fucking
Oh, epic. I don't know what's happening at all, but it looks so fucking badass.
Oh my god.
Dude, I feel you just have to explain this. There's so many. I have so many questions.
Dude,
From the trailer.
The costume design is unreal. Like every shot I see of Princess Irulan.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, I gotta like scroll back to the video. There's a shot towards the end there where she's got like a full blown like
Like the veil.
regal headdress. Like I don't know, it's insane. And that's so good. There's because it's like, you know, you could do the lazy thing, throw a crown on her head or something
Yeah.
like that. But it's like this is 20,000 years in the future. You can do whatever you want. Go crazy. And oh my gosh, we got so much fade. No lines though. No lines of dialogue from him.
They definitely went ham with the stylistic choices here. I really love the contrast to the harsh sun of Arrakis, of Dune, and then contrasting that with like the pale black and white when we're with Fade.
Fade. So I think what they're doing, Fade is Baron Harkonnen's nephew. So he's a Harkonnen. But it looks like every scene on Gaiety Prime, which is the Harkonnen homeworld, is just straight up in black and white, which is a wild artistic choice there. Oh my god. But it looks so like brutal by putting it in black and white.
Yes.
Which is what the Harkonnen, that's like, you know, what's his face says it in the first movie. He says, you don't know Harkonnens like I do. They're not humans. They're brutal. And that's exactly what we see here. It's just pure brutality.
Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, but if I remember from the last time we spoke, is Feyd-Rautha is the brother of the Beast Raban from the
Right, the
first
Beast
Dune?
Raban, yeah, the
Okay.
Beast Raban, and we see him in this trailer too.
Yes.
Yes, he is Feyd-Rautha's older brother, so they are both nephews of the Baron Harkonnen. The Baron um, does not have any legitimate children of his own. So, oh my gosh, dude,
Dude,
that
there's
shit
so
was
much going on.
wild.
Like we
That,
see we see
the
go ahead. You go.
the attention to detail here, like the first time we see Princess Irulan,
Mhm.
I caught it real quick, but she's like speaking into a recorder. So
Yes.
within the lore of Dune, she's like a historian. She's an author and a historian. So like Dune, the novel Dune is basically like every intro to a chapter
Uh-huh.
is an excerpt from a book that she's written, basically. So she's
Wow.
telling you, she's giving you context to the story through the eyes of history. Like, so having her like speaking into a recorder is such a nice attention to detail. Like she's taking notes or something for herself to write into a book at some point.
Now, Princess Irulan is a character we didn't meet in the first part, in Dune Part 1. Is there
Correct.
anything that that maybe the casual viewers, the casual fans of Dune should know about her going into this that's non-spoilery, or should we just kind of go in not knowing anything?
I mean, basically, I think all you need to know about her, she is one of the Emperor's daughters, maybe his eldest. I don't remember that specifically. But she's also she's a sister of the Bene Gesserit. Well, not I don't know if she's a full blown sister, but she has Bene Gesserit training, so she's kind of like Lady Jessica in that way.
Gotcha.
Um, but she's like I said, she's like a historian. She's very interested in history and documenting history and understanding history and all these things. So yeah, she plays a big role, an even bigger role in Dune Messiah. So fingers crossed that we get that one. But yeah, she'll be a big player in this one for
That's
sure.
cool. Okay, so we covered Feyd, we covered Princess Irulan, and Leia Sado. We see her character in this. She also looks to be on the side of the Harkonnens.
So
Anything we need to know about who she playing, why she looks so cool?
So what's interesting, so that's Lady Margot Fenring, and she's actually a very minor character in the novel.
Interesting.
Her husband, Count Fenring, is like a pretty major character. So it's interesting that we haven't seen anything from Count Fenring, but we are seeing Lady Fenring. Um, but she's also a sister of the Bene Gesserit, so that's a pretty typical thread there. Yeah, we see a shot of her with Feyd at one point. So yeah,
Mhm.
she's got, she's Bene Gesserit, so they've got their own machinations going on all the time. So she's got her own ideas. She's got plans, plans within plans.
We
So
see little spoiler for Dune Part 1. We see that Josh Brolin's character has survived.
mhm.
He's in this. He's playing Thanos, Dune Thanos.
Playing Dune Thanos.
Dune Thanos.
Gurney Halleck.
Gurney Halleck. There we go.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. I'm glad that someone survived the onslaught that was the first movie.
Yeah. So, dude, I'm clicking through
Mm-hmm.
the trailer here, and like that. So we get the opening scene with Paul and Cheney, but then right after that, we get the scene with Lady Jessica,
Uh-huh.
and she's inside of like a little pod or
Mm-hmm.
something. I swear it looks like, based on the way like the wind is blowing over them and everyone's like looking forward, I think they're on a sandworm.
That's wild.
I like it looks like they're traveling somewhere.
Like on a train. Like they converted like a
Yeah.
sandworm into almost like a train. Lady Jessica looks wild in this shot, dude. She looks so different from where we
her
left
eyes
her.
are deep blue.
Yes, and she has all of the writing on her face.
Yeah, and she also has like a really ornate like headdress
Yes.
on at one point
Mhm.
also.
Could this be her? Like, this is me purely speculating because, as you know, I know nothing about Dune outside of what we saw in Dune Part 1. But could this be her like embracing her teachings a little bit, like that she grew up now that her husband is gone, she's kind of turning back to that old lifestyle.
Look, I'm not going to say too much, but Lady Jessica, she's going to go through some shit. Okay. She's going to have a transformation of her own. A lot of transformations happening. She's going to have a transformation of her own. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. And that final shot where he's standing on the precipice and there's just thousands and thousands of Fremen. Oh my God.
Yeah, dude.
They're ready, dude. They're ready.
We saw nothing like we hinted at the larger numbers of Fremen in the first movie, but we really saw very little of them in terms of that movie.
Oh my gosh, dude. This trailer is unreal.
So I'm really kind of excited. I'm excited to learn more about the Fremen in this movie, because the first movie, I think, did a really great job of establishing kind of the factions and House Atreides and the world of Arrakis and kind of why it's so important and the spice and everything like that. And we hear a lot about the Fremen. Like, we hear Duncan Idaho talk about the Fremen, and we get a lot of like background information on them, but we don't really see a lot of that in action. And the movie ends with us seeing someone in the background riding the sandworm, and now we're gonna kind of see all of that happen in this movie, which I think is really cool. Now, I don't know what Paul is doing and what he puts in the ground. I'm assuming that's some sort of sonic device.
So yeah, we see that in the first movie at one point. It's called a thumper. So it's basically, they talk about how sandworms are drawn to rhythmic noises. And normally the idea is to avoid any rhythmic noises so that you don't draw in a sandworm. But there are times when you specifically want to have a sandworm come towards you. You throw a thumper in the ground, just creates a rhythmic bump, 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 and give it a few minutes. You'll have a sandworm there for you.
I like
so you better know what you're doing.
So it's Uber. It's Uber for sandworms. Okay.
Yeah.
Dope. So the whole, that whole section of the trailer is like, oh, don't do anything too fancy. No, I won't. Wink, wink. I'm totally going to do something fancy to impress Zendaya, Shani. But is there a reason why when he's riding the sandworm, Javier Bardem's character is looking at him like in such awe?
I think he just knows, that's like his final test to becoming a true Fremen. Okay. So he's I know the first movie ends with him saying, he says, "You're one of us now," but he's really not until he proves himself. In Fremen culture, most people ride their first sandworm when they're like 8 years old or something. This is like something you do in your childhood to prove yourself. So, but Paul's new. He's not been a part of this life, so he didn't grow up in this world. So him being able to conquer that was like a big deal
at such a late age. Gotcha.
Oh my gosh.
Gotcha.
But also, you talked about just like the difference between what we saw in movie one or part one and kind of what it seems like we're setting up here. And yeah, totally. Movie one and the first half of the book is just a lot of setup. It's just sort of establishing where we are. It's giving the real story context, because part two truly is the real story. The real story is Paul becoming a part of the Fremen and becoming essentially the Fremen leader, and what that means for them and what that means for the galaxy, or universe, I should say.
Yeah, part one.
That's really the real story here. So
part one felt like a very strong opening to a chess match where all the pieces are being moved accordingly on the board. Each side are kind of feeling the others out. Moves are made, big moves are made. But now it feels like we're setting up the end game now. And it kind of feels like, all right, well, these guys, we learned about these guys in the first movie. We know how dangerous the Harkonnens are from the first movie. Now what's going to happen when these two factions come into a collision course for each other? And now I'm really excited to see Fade Routha, because you hyped him up a lot. When we talk, you're like Fade Routha, and the only thing I know at all about Fade Routha is that Sting played him in the 84 movie, and this is a completely different look than that look. I'm sure intentionally.
Fade Routha is just like the counterpoint to Paul Atreides. They are essentially the same person, but one from House Atreides, one from House Harkonnen. They're both products of the Bene Gesserit breeding program. They are you know, they're both are in theory destined for the same thing,
That's
but
interesting.
they go about their lives in very different ways.
Yeah,
So
looks like it. Man,
yeah,
this is cool. I'll say one thing. Denis Villeneuve really does a fantastic job with the visuals in the first movie especially, but in this he crafts such a unique feeling movie universe. Like this looks and feels nothing like the Dune from 84. It looks and
yeah,
feels like nothing we've gotten in a movie before. I mean, there's obviously inspiration here and there of different things, but he takes so many risks and has so many artistic and stylistic choices. Um, I'm so I just want to
yeah. I mean,
keep
like we
looking
said,
at
like
everything.
the costumes alone, like I said, like the decision to just not just put a crown on Princess Irulan, like I said before,
Yeah.
but instead to do something so much more ornate and sort of unusual is to me just like such a great choice,
I mean, yeah,
and gives the world like a really unique feeling.
like even the one scene we see of Beast Raban in this trailer, like he's wearing in like the last movie he was wearing more of
Yeah.
like an armored look. Now he is in
Yep.
more of this like formal attire, but it looks
Yeah.
completely different from what we saw last time. But at the same time, so visually recognizable to the Harkonnen people. Like, oh, it's so good. I just love
Yeah.
it.
I mean, I could not possibly be more hyped for this movie.
Dude. It looks good. This is a great trailer, like a really good
Oh
trailer.
my gosh. There's the shot at the end here. Jessica saying we gave them something to hope for, and Paul screaming, "That's not hope." I don't know if you recall from the first movie, but he's talking about his terrible purpose, and he's seeing the
Yeah.
crusade and people killing in his name, basically. And
Yes.
he's like, he's terrified of it, but he's also about that sweet revenge. So
Yeah. I
that may
mean,
lead him down some dark paths. We'll see.
we see that almost immediately. Like
Yeah,
when after House Atreides falls, Paul's like, "All right, this is what I'm gonna do next, and this is what we have to do." Like he, as much as that future fears him, I could also see him kind of lust for that sweet revenge. You know,
yeah,
because they came for his family. They tried to take out his family. They took out his dad. Like
yeah.
you expect nothing. It's kind of like The Godfather, you know, when they fail to kill Sonny Corleone, and he comes back to Italy all those years later and he gets revenge. It's the same thing.
Yeah. One thing I can't believe they put in this trailer actually is they show this that brief moment right before Paul and Fade have a knife fight with each
Mm.
other. That's surprising that they put that in here.
They
I
touch
guess I
tips.
guess it's like I guess that's like the obvious conclusion if you're going to start hyping up Fade as a like a psychopathic
Yeah,
version of Paul Atreides, but it's such like a monumental moment in the book that it's I don't know. I would have maybe I would have saved it, but I
I
also love Paul delivering the line "May thy knife chip and shatter," which is what Jameis said to him before they dueled at the end of the first movie.
yeah,
Nice.
dude, it's nice. It's visual. It's so visually symmetrical. Like the
Hmm.
shot itself is so beautifully symmetrical, just in the shapes, in the lighting. It's so perfectly balanced. Kind
Just the
of
two silhouettes there, and then
yes,
you got a little audience behind each one of them.
yes.
Oh my gosh.
They're both perfectly centered in alignment with the sunset. It's obviously it's like a either it's sunrise or sunset, but duels happen usually at sunrise, so it's probably like it's such a great shot. So good.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah, I mean, I don't know the meaning behind it, but I'm sure it's very meaningful. Because usually every knife fight in these movies are, you know, but very cool, dude. Is there anything else that we should know about Dune Part Two?
No, I definitely I don't want to say too much. It's, you know, me being a longtime fan and a book reader, as I watch this trailer, I'm trying to avoid saying any spoilers or anything like that, but also sort of giving enough context to explain why I'm reacting the way I am. So tough needle to thread there. So I think, you know, I think we're good. I don't want to say too much. So,
all right, guys. I think that's gonna wrap up this video. Then, Zach, where can the people find you?
you can find me on Twitter at hi, my name is Zach M, and that's about it.
All right. And if you liked the video, make sure to give it a huge thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay up to date on all of our latest content. You guys can find me on all of the socials at the MontyVerse. And until next time, stay versed.